Hey, Shalom, Yasha, I want to start off souls by giving all praise to Yahweh, Shem Shaba, Shem Dash. Double honors to the apostles of GMS and honesty, brothers doing the work in truth, while sincerity. This is Sirach, I was going straight into it. Yes, it's inspired from an exchange that happened when I was at the job. When Geezer was basically, he wanted to do something he'd never done before. And I was like, look, man, a guy over there, he's done it before. Ask him. But he was like, he basically saying he won't tell me anything that I don't already know, right? All in all, that's basically what he was saying. I was like, look, man, you don't know that. Ask him, and then you'll find out for sure, right? And then he asked him, and that guy that I mentioned was basically dropping some gems, right? Worldly gems, but for this guy, gems nonetheless, right? And it basically made me think that in this truth you can't have that mentality of I know everything, right? Because for one, that's pride, right? And the Lord doesn't delight in pride. The Lord doesn't, that's not of the Lord, right? So basically, I just did I did a search for advice and counsel in the scriptures, and these are some of the things that I found, right? It says Sirach 32:19, it says, do nothing without advice, right? So there'll be certain things, you basically reason with Akim. Basically, sometimes you might not know how to navigate, one way, in the world. So what you do, you go to, men that are above you, and you say, look, man, how do I behave in this situation? What do I do in that situation, right? Because it also helps you put your mind at ease as well. And sometimes, especially if you're fresh in this thing, you realize that you're being over righteous in a lot of things, right? Because over righteousness, as the scriptures say, why shouldst thou destroy thyself, right? Because if you give yourself to righteousness, you will destroy yourself, right? And then this thing of ours will start looking like a burden, right? Because it's difficult to keep the laws to the best of our ability in this kingdom, right? Well, we try, not saying we don't try, but it's difficult, but there are some things that you just can't keep. And if you ain't privy of those things, for instance, you end up just going crazy and bugging out and then falling off, right? This is Sirach 4:9. It says, two are better than one because they have a good reward for their labor, right? And such is the same with minds. They always say two minds are better than one, right? If you're trying to tackle a complex problem, right, two minds are better than one. And especially if it's something that someone else has gone through before, right? It's foolishness not to ask them, right? Certain brothers catch certain hell, and although we joke about it, the hand on the shoulder, and you look at them and say, yeah, yo, I've been where you've been. You don't want to do X, Y, and Z, right? The Lord will have certain brothers go through certain situations so that younger brothers can come, and then when they seek counsel, they'll be like, look, man, look, this is what happened when I did it, right? And then with that information, that brother can then make the decisions, right, that he needs to make. Because at the end of the day, one thing is, there are things that are written in the scriptures as laws, as in you must do it this way. But then there are things about how to navigate in this way. You be like, look, bro, you don't really want to do this, or yeah, bro, you can do X, Y, Z. Now, whether that brother actually listens to what you say, that's on him, right? That's on you, as in what do you call it? The person listening to the counsel, listening to the advice. That's on you whether you take the advice or not, right? But counsel is better, right? Two are better than one. Two are better. Two minds are better than the one. Right. This is Sirach 6:23. Says, give ear, my son, receive my advice, and refuse not my counsel. Right. And the most important counsel is the counsel of the Lord. The understanding of these scriptures, the understanding of the knowledge. And that's the one thing you don't want to be leaning on your own understanding for. You want to be going, in Sirach as well, it says, if you got elders, basically wear down their steps, something to that effect, if I remember correctly, right? basically, always seeking counsel, right? In fact, let me see if I can find that real quick. In fact, it was the same chapter. Well, I mean, this whole chapter is bad, it's just worthy of worthy of a of a breakdown on its own, right? So Sirach 6:36 says, if thou seest the man of understanding, get thee betimes unto him, and let thy foot wear the steps of his door. Right, basically just keep going at it. Hey, what's the breakdown on this? Hearing the gems that man has to give you, right? Because at the end of the day, when you come into this thing, you're a newborn babe, right? You don't know what you're talking about, right? And then to apply this situation that I observed earlier on, that's like me saying, look, man, I want to go out there and teach you scriptures. I know those guys have been teaching the scriptures before for much longer and are much more seasoned with it, but I'm gonna go off what I know. No, you go off to you reason with the people that have done it before, right? To make sure you're not going off, because the scripture saith, a little leaven leaveneth the whole lump. In fact, I'll get saving this for later, but since I mentioned it, right, it says Hebrews 5:12 says, for the time ye ought to be teachers, ye have need that one teach you again. And how is that going to happen, right? It's going to happen by you well, in this day and age, seeking counsel via the internet in the form of the videos that the apostles have put and men of good renown have put out, man. They're all waiting to be watched, ready for you to watch them, right? And that's these days, especially with the live shows, it feels like you're there, and if you're near a camp as well, you could all see when those brothers go out to teach, where they teach, and then you can go out there and then you can be in the council that way, right? Because there's a difference between watching and actually being there, but everything in its due time, right? It says Proverbs 1:5, it says a wise man will hear and will increase in learning, and a man of understanding shall attain unto wise counsels, right? Because you read through the scriptures, you have the counsels of the wicked, right? And here you're hearing about wise counsels, right? Because you got to understand I remember, I always think back about how when I was younger, I took counsel from at the time my friends was young, and then but now I look back at that counsel, I'm like, man, why did I listen to them guys, man? Ultimately everything's of the Lord anyway, but I'm just there like, man, if I didn't listen to them guys, and that's the thing, you're supposed to seek wise counsel, not any counsel of anything, which also means you may have, for instance, let's say you're about to have a child, right? We're men, we love women, we have sex, right? But let's say you get a woman pregnant, right? There's no point you coming to seek counsel of me. I don't have a child. Seeking wise counsel is going to a brother that has children and be like, yo, what, this is the situation that I'm in, this, that, and the other, this, that, and the other, right? And although I may be able to tell you one or two things, I cannot give you the advice that you need, right? That give you the counsel that you need to actually help you in knowing how to deal with children on this side, right? Because that's a heavy thing. And if you ain't seeking counsel from the right person, right, because that is the balance, you seek counsel, but then if you've got a group of brethren, you should seek counsel from the one that is from someone that is going through a similar thing, right? And like I said, going back to the example given before, that's like me having a child. There's several brothers in the camp with children, and then me not asking them anything and just going, no, I know what I'm doing. No, you always got to seek counsel, right? This is Proverbs 12:15, right? It says the way of a fool is right in his own eyes. Exactly. So it's foolishness, right, to think that what it is that you need to do, right? It says, but he that hearkeneth unto counsel is wise. So it's a wise thing, to seek counsel. One, it's a show, I'm not saying you're humble just for seeking counsel, but it's a show of humility to show that, look, you don't know everything, right? This is Proverbs 19:20 says, hear counsel and receive instruction, that thou mayest be wise in thy latter end. That's, playing into the point. And I think the last one is this one now, isn't it? Yeah, exactly. It says Ecclesiasticus, also known as Sirach 8:17, says, consult not thou with a fool, for he cannot keep counsel. Right? So there's no point consulting with a fool, because it's basically saying his counsel is null and void. It's of no value, it's of no profit. Right? So yeah, Lord's will, you were edified, and yeah, man, seek that counsel, man. Seek that counsel. Say shalom.